Hey guys, how's it going? I am sitting outside today. It is so nice. I'm here. It's almost noon and the weather isn't killing me yet. This is like the perfect spring day. I think we're supposed to hit like 80 degrees. But there's a light breeze, so I can totally handle it, which is so nice. And it's just been an amazing morning. It's been so good out here, and I can't wait to film this Q&A. One reason I'm not drinking a Red Bull. I found this new drink. It's called Yerba Mate. I've tried a bunch of their other ones and I didn't like any of them except for this one. This is the sparkling cranberry pomegranate, and it's made with like organic everything. It's organic cane sugar, water, organic pomegranate juice, organic cranberry juice, yerba mate extract, and organic caffeine. It's like a list of a whole bunch of different things. But I can read every ingredient, which means I know that it's better for me. So I think that this is going to be my new go-to. They're pretty expensive. I think it was like $3 for one of these. But it's got 80 milligrams of caffeine. And I think it's going to be better than a Red Bull is. So let's get into today's Q&A because it's going to be a good one. And as a reminder, that is not my rooster. And if you hear dogs barking, it's not my dogs either. My dogs don't bark. We did 6 videos this week. As always, we did the Q&A elaborating on the partnership, planting a magenta butterfly bush and sunflowers, shopping for annuals with my friend Tara. We're making progress working on the fence right behind me, setting up for success in the formal garden, which was training the Espalier apples, and planting a Stilby and Deutzia. And I am so happy with how they look. It's so good. So it was a really good week. And then this week, you guys, there's some good videos coming out. I'm really excited. The video you guys are going to see tomorrow, we're going to go plant shopping with my sister Jaylin, and it is so good. We went down to High Hand. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. Best nursery ever. It's very, very well done. They put a lot of money into this nursery. It is so stunning. So let's just get into the questions. First video that we did was the Q&A from last week, and there were some good questions on there. I talked about my partnership with Monrovia and where we want to move. So let's just jump into the questions from that video. First one was from Carrie, and she had said, confused. You guys want more land, but the chickens can't go where you go. So when we move, we plan to buy something that is like raw land. There is nothing that's going to be on the property except for a house and just like bare land. And when we move, we wouldn't have enough time to build a chicken coop for them, or even like a temporary chicken coop. So we'll just get rid of them, and then we will get new chickens when we get to the new property. But that probably wouldn't be for a while if we get acreage. So it's not something that we're in. I mean, like, we love having the chickens, but we really don't eat the eggs or use them for anything else. So the chickens won't be going with us just for that reason, because there wouldn't be a chicken coop or somewhere to keep them safe from predators until we were able to build something. So that's why. The next question on that video is from Gardens Glory, and they had said, Robbie, how are you going to do videos all summer when it's 100 degrees out? I have no clue. I did it last year. I just had to get out super early in the morning. So it'll be something where I have to get out, like, it's going to be like I'm out here in the garden at like 6:30 in the morning planting, maybe 7 in the morning, and then I'll take most of the day off, and then I will have to come back out in the evening and finish a video. So you guys will see like a transition of shadows, because I'm not going to be able to garden after probably about 10:30, because that's usually when we hit about 100 degrees. The next question on that video is from Jamie, and she had said, what are you going to do with 10 acres? My parents have 1 acre and it seems plenty for a home and gardening. We would like 10 acres just to have the space. I don't ever plan to like fully landscape 10 acres. That's so much land to landscape. If we bought land, we've talked about it's like we'd do like 1 acre of like landscape, and then I would like to have a couple acres of like wooded areas maybe. And then I would like to have a couple acres for animals specifically, maybe like horses, possibly a cow. I worked on a farm growing up, and we had cows, and they're a lot of work. They have to be milked every single day. So, I mean, that's just something that will develop, but I don't plan on it. I don't want to become like a homesteading channel. That's not who I am. I grew up working on a farm. Brent grew up on a farm. We know what it takes. It's deciding whether we want to go that route or not. We just want to have the land so we can kind of control who is super close to us. That's kind of like the big main thing. And that gives us space. So a lot of it will be undeveloped, and I don't ever plan to fully develop all of it. if we found the perfect lot that was like 2 acres, we would go for it. That would be nice. An acre for us would probably just feel a little too small. Janie's on an acre and it's nice, it's good, but I do want more than that. We are in California, we're in Northern California, and so land is much cheaper than anywhere else in California where we're at. But 10 acres is still a lot of money. We did find a place that was super beautiful. We actually just got back from looking at homes and we were driving out to it, and it's on 20 acres and it's this beautiful 100-year-old house, beautiful old barn. It was stunning, but the house is like 15-20 feet away from like the main 99, which is like the main road that everyone uses. So traffic was insane. And it was also like $800,000. So like, I mean, that gives you an idea. Like you can get 20 acres for $800,000 out here. So where I'm at, land is not, it's not super expensive. The next question on that video is from Nita, and she had said, question, Robbie, you said that you had planned for the backyard, but I don't know if it was more formal or English cottage garden, maybe different rooms. Does your partnership with Monrovia change your plans which way you are going? My partnership with them, it does not change the direction that I want to go on this property. I do want meandering pathways. The original plan over the winter was to do a very formal garden, and I've kind of like leaned away from that a little bit, and now we're thinking about cottagey with touches of formal, if that makes sense. So I want meandering pathways through the garden. I want you to be able to kind of like walk below the willow. I want like a huge area to do like a stoned patio out there, and have like maybe a table or a fire pit out there, and have it be like a seating area, have it be its own hidden little room where you can kind of go. Where I'm sitting now, I can be seen by all of my neighbors, which is kind of annoying. So I want to build an area that's hidden. I need to like sketch it out just to show you guys what I'm thinking, but I just haven't done that yet. I will elaborate soon. The next question on the video was from a friend, and they had said, Brent, Robbie, why don't you put mist above your seating area for summer heat? Like Arizona, every house has it. I used to have it when I was a kid growing up, and I didn't love it. I didn't love how wet everything was all the time. I think my parents probably had it running way too often, so that might have been part of the problem. But it would be something to think about. We also do have a lot of like electrical in the gazebo. I don't know. The next video that we did was window shopping for annuals, planting the window box. Oh man, also, sorry. Like I said, we live in the suburbs-ish of middle of nowhere. 2,000 people live in our town, and where I'm at is like the suburbs of the town, even though it's not technically a suburbs. So my neighbors are taking care of their yard right now. So the next video was the window boxes. They turned out fabulous. They've already put on a ton of growth, which is really, really exciting. I cannot wait to see what those do. It's gonna be spectacular. And you guys got to hang out with my friend Tara, which was cool. She's always she's always a good time. She's definitely there for the dogs. Anytime she sees a dog, it's so funny. First question on that video was from Kitland, and they had said, okay, who picked up diachondra from who? You and Janie both say that. I don't know. I always heard it as diachondra, and then like, you guys know I can't read. And I looked it up, and there's definitely no A, and it should be like dichondra. Everywhere I've gone has always pronounced it diachondra, like diachondra Silver Falls, diachondra Emerald. But I will try to pronounce it correctly. I'm trying to be better about that. So dichondra Silver Falls, I think. The next question on that video is from Carla, and she had said, uh-oh, did you lose your gloves already? I bet you were so excited about your plant haul that you forgot. Question, I like how you demonstrated pulling the plants out of the pot to examine the roots. If there was bad, what would you see to make you put the plant back? What I would look for in that is if I didn't see any soil in the container, if I only specifically saw roots, that's kind of a sign that maybe it's a little too root bound. And also if I saw dead roots. So the roots, you usually want to see them and they should be like a white color. If I looked and they were all brown or starting to get mushy, it's already on its way out. So that wouldn't be worth it to me. I mean, you're just wasting your money at that point. So I don't always check. I can sometimes just tell. But if there's something that I'm questioning, or if it's like even like an investment piece, I'll definitely like pop the can off and I'll look at the roots really quick and then put it back in. The next question on that video is from Cynthia, and she had said, love the flower selection of your window boxes. What are you going to plant below the bed? I am hoping to get my hands on some lavender. There's this one called the Princess from Monrovia, and it is so stunning. It's a Spanish lavender. The flags, which are the pieces that are on the very top, are spectacular. I want to line that entire bed below with that lavender. I think that that would be so stunning. That lavender gets only 12 to 15 inches tall and wide, so it's more compact, which would be perfect for that spot because I think I've got about 15 inches in depth right there. So I'm hoping to get my hands on that. It's not confirmed yet, but it would be so beautiful there. I think with the green, and like I'm gonna do like, it's like a sunflower and lavender field up there. I think that it's gonna be so pretty. I can't wait to get the sunflowers planted that I have up there. You guys are just gonna die when you see what I have. The next question on that video is from AJ Torres, and she had said, "Hi Robbie and Janet, here from Tucson, Arizona. How do you keep your dogs from messing with your plants? My dogs keep eating mine. I had to dog proof my garden." Okay. I don't know about eating. Mine don't ever eat the plants, ever. Our Freya, she used to eat the lamb's ear when she was a puppy, but she stopped doing that. I would recommend getting these dog spike strips. I will put the link to them down below. I use them in the garden all the time, and maybe get them around your plants so that way the dogs stop eating them. I don't know. If anyone has any recommendations for how to get dogs to not eat your plants, put that in the comments down below, because I get that question a lot and I don't know how to answer it because my dogs don't do that. And the last question on that video is from It's Garden Time, and they had said, "Hey Robbie, what do you think about putting that sunflower from Monrovia on the left of the window box? It would look like a sunflower field right in front of your house." I am going to be planting them in front of the house. It is the Sunbelievable Helianthus sunflower. I have 3 of them, and you guys, I'm not lying when I tell you that they produce about 1,000 sunflowers per plant. You get 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide. They bloom up until frost. I've got them. They're gonna go in the very front of the house because on the outside of the gate, I want that entire area just to feel like a mass of sunflowers. It's gonna be so pretty when they are fully blooming up there. I can't wait to get them planted. I've got a few more days, and I'm waiting for them to start blooming to be able to show you guys what they look like when they're blooming in their container. So soon I will get them planted for you guys. I'm interrupting this video to tell you guys an exciting announcement. So Monrovia has decided to give away one $100 gift card to one of you guys. All you need to do to enter this giveaway is comment down below which plant from Monrovia you would like to see in your garden. So check out the Monrovia website, see what they have growing, tell me which plant you're excited to see in your garden, and that's how you're entered. Please make sure that your notifications are turned on for YouTube. That's how you will be notified if you won. And also, please be aware of scammers out there. I will never ask you to send me your credit card information. I will never ask you to contact me via WhatsApp. All I'm going to do is ask you to shoot me an email so that way I can send you your gift card. The only information that I'm going to need from you is your email if you won. I will select the winner by the end of the week, so keep an eye out for that. And if you're unsure if you won or not, the winner's name will be in the description of this video. Now back to the Q&A. The next video that we did was planting a magenta butterfly bush and sunflowers, and the butterfly bush has already started to bloom. It is so pretty. It needed that pop of color. I can see it from here. It's gonna be the perfect size for that area, and it's gonna be so beautiful when it starts to like really fill out. It really needed that pop of color. The next question on that video is from Peggy, and she had said, "Painting the pole was brilliant." Question: Freya is so pretty. Can you tell us a little bit about her? What breed is she? How old? And how did you and Brent become her dads? Freya is a Belgian Malinois in the color blonde, and she was kind of a mutt. So she's got a little bit of like German Shepherd in her also, but mostly Belgian Malinois. We found her because she was an accidental litter. A person in like Sacramento, so a couple hours from us, they had their puppy out who wasn't fixed yet, and they had a friend who had their dog with them, and they ended up accidentally having a litter. And so they had, I think, 7 dogs, and we ended up picking Freya up, and you could tell that they were all exhausted. The mom was exhausted, the people that had the dogs were exhausted, and they had taken Freya to go get her first shots and all of these things. So we got her, and she's like she was the sweetest puppy. We found her on, I think, Facebook or something like that, and she's seriously been like the best dog. She is so smart. She learns so fast. It's incredible. The next question on that video is from Deborah, and she had said, Robbie, I really like all 3 of the butterfly bushes, especially the one that you decided to plant. It is so pretty. Can I make a suggestion? Bring the bush at least 1.5 feet out from the pole so that it has plenty of room to grow. It looks too crowded, especially with the apple back there trying to grow too. Just saying. Okay, I think part of that is on camera because so behind the telephone pole, there is about 2 feet from behind the telephone pole to the fence. And anytime I show it, it looks like the telephone pole is like 6 inches from the fence. The butterfly bush is planted about 1 foot to maybe like 1 foot and like to 3-4 inches. So it's planted more than 1 foot away from it. I want it to be right up against that telephone pole, especially with it getting the size that it gets. I want it to like surround that telephone pole. So that's my plan. It should do totally fine there. I've got a butterfly bush that gets like, I think it's 12 to 15 feet tall that I am going to be removing because it's planted in the wrong spot. And it's planted right up against the fence and it does totally fine. It's just now getting too much shade because of one of the neighbor's roses that I absolutely hate, the ladybanks. That one should be fine where it's at. Should I see it struggle, I'll move it, but it does have a little more than 1 foot behind it. It doesn't look like that on camera though, but I promise it's got enough space. The next question on that video was from Beth, and she had said, hey Robbie, I'm getting ready to set up drip irrigation for the first time. I see you have a brown drip tubing where you planted the sunflower. Is it 6, 8, or 12 inches spacing for the emitters? I can't wait to see how the sunflower looks. They are at 12-inch spacing. Hi. They're at 12-inch spacing, and it's the brown. We get it from Home Depot, and it's the only one that we use in the landscape is the 12-inch spacing. If it's closer than that, I think in the landscape, it just keeps the ground a little too wet. The 12 has worked beautifully in our landscape. The next question on that video is from Carly, and she had said, how can we support your journey with Monrovia? Is it based on views or sales? It's just you guys being here, hanging out with me, continuing to support the channel. It's basically like I'm creating advertisements for Monrovia talking about their plants. Same with anybody else on YouTube that talks about any other plant brand. I mean, there's like the Weeks roses, there's heirloom roses, there's proven winners, there's all of these other brands that other YouTubers talk about. And it's just watching the videos just helps a lot. And continues to support these channels to be able to continue to grow. So just you guys being here, I appreciate it. The next question on that video is from KP, and they had said, good day, Robbie. I was wondering, does the sunflowers not get huge? And if so, why plant them so dang close? I think that the butterfly bush looks so great where you planted it. So with the sunflowers, they're the Gold Light DMR and they're a branching sunflower. I prefer them to stay smaller. And with sunflowers, if you don't give them the proper spacing, I should have said this in the video, I just totally forgot about it. But with sunflowers, if you don't give them the proper spacing, the blooms will stay smaller. So normally the DMRs will get this big, which is really pretty, but not like super usable. And I do plan to harvest some of them, especially once they start branching, and I will start harvesting them and use them in some flower arrangements. I prefer them when they stay about this size, which is about the size that I got them last year. So they stayed much, much smaller, and it made it perfect to be able to just tuck into any like flower arrangement. It was really pretty. So I prefer to space my sunflowers much closer together just for that reason. The next question on that video was from Michelle, and she had said, I love the butterfly bushes, gonna have to get a couple. Found this unbelievable yesterday's. Can't wait to see it in all its glory. You are going to love it. So happy that you are with Monrovia and get to see their plants. Question, do you put individual emitters on every plant? I'm slowly converting to drip and know we are different, but have similar weather. So was looking at a starting point. Then I can monitor changes as needed. I don't do it to every single plant. Janie does it to every single plant because she's on a well and she's trying to be super cautious about how much water she uses. So she has her black lines that have 0 emitters, and hers go to every single plant because she's on a well and she's, you know, trying to be conservative with her water, which is smart. I am on city water and my water bill is normally like during the summer, maybe like $15 to $20 a month. It's super cheap water here where we're at. And so I don't do emitters to every single plant. I just run 3 lines. My beds that are like 6.5 feet, I've got 3 lines in them, and they've got emitters every 12 inches on the brown poly. And then I don't worry about it. When I do my containers, what I do is I do a line of black poly, which is the 1/4 inch that goes up the bottom of it, and then I do a ring of brown poly that has emitters every 6 inches in my containers, just because containers tend to dry out a little bit faster than the ground does. So I do make sure that they get more water. I used to do the like 1 emitter to every single plant, and I found that it was just taking too much time for me to do that, and I hated the look of all of the spider webbing of the like 1/4 inch everywhere. It was not for me, but you can totally do that too, and then just you have to cover it by mulch if you don't want to see it. So that's why I don't do that. The next video that we did was setting up for success the formal garden, the espalier on the apples. Finally getting those like trellised. It needed to happen so badly, and it looks so good. Now I don't even mind the plain wire. I'm staring at it right now, and it looks so good. It kind of gives your eyes like an idea of what's about to happen, which is really, really nice, and it fills up that blank wall, which really needed to happen. The first question in that video was from Danielle, and she had said, "Hi, do these trees not get any taller where those 2 branches would eventually reach the wire, or where the wired branches would eventually need to be moved to another row?" So that is all up to my training. So what I'm doing is, as these branches reach the top, and then it's got the main leader, I'm bending that main leader over sideways, and it's going to shoot out another branch this way. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to divide it, so it's going to stop and it'll grow sideways, and there won't be a main leader anymore. So the main leader is now gone sideways, and then I will cut the ends of those once they reach the desired length that I have them at. The trunk of the tree is just gonna get thicker, and the branching will just get thicker. I spaced mine about 12 inches. Honestly, like 12 inches is a little bit small. I'm just keeping them at 12 because the very first one that I did was at 12 inches. But no, it's not just gonna like shoot up another main leader. And even if it did shoot up another leader, I would just cut that off and keep it at that exact desired height that I want it to be at. The next question in that video is from Michelle, and she had said, "The older apple espalier looks awesome. Thanks for the tutorial. Does Monrovia have some fruit trees we can do this to?" Monrovia does sell fruit trees, and I don't think that they sell them bare root per se, so you would be buying them already starting to like branch out, which like there's some risk when doing espalier, but they are coming out with a tree. They have like a very limited stock, so it's not like super out to the public yet. They're working on it. It's called Fruit Snack. You guys, let me pull up the specs because I want to be right. It's called Fruit Snacks. It's a Calmer apple, which they've got a couple varieties. So they have a red apple and a golden apple and a green apple. They have one called Blushing Delight, and you guys, they are amazing. I haven't seen them in person. I want one so badly though, because you guys, they are perfect for anybody who is in like a suburban area who wants to grow apples. They also sell like the fruit cocktails, which are like an apple tree that has like 4 or 5 different branches on it, so you get 5 different varieties of apples from one. But these Fruit Snack one, let me pull up all the specs. They grow zones 4 through 9. They get 8 to 10 feet tall and 2 feet wide at maturity. Tell me you can't find 2 feet on your property. 2 feet? Are you kidding me? An apple tree getting this big and you get fruit off of it? I guess that they like load up with fruit trees. They're still testing it, and they're still trying to propagate and be able to grow a ton of them. It's a new cultivar to them. And so they're trying to like really work on this one to get this out in like masses, because this is going to be like game changing for anybody who lives in like suburban areas. Like Janie's last property, she could have had like 4 of these apple trees, and it would have been so cool to have them like dispersed into the landscape a little bit and have a 2 foot wide tree. That's so amazing. So keep an eye out for those. Those will be coming in the next couple years out to the market in masses. But as far as like bare root espalier trees, they don't quite do that. So I just buy super cheap bare root trees. The next question on that video is from Manny, and they had said, "Looks great, good job, Robbie. Could you divide the tall grasses where you have it to plant in between the trees where you would like them?" I could, but it's already grown so much. Now it's a little late. I should have done that in the winter time, but I definitely didn't do that. So I just need to get my hands on like 2 more of them, but I'm just gonna wait. I think I'm gonna just find something else that's tall, because I'll have the sunflowers and then I'll have a grass, and then I'm just gonna find something else that's just an annual that gets nice and tall to fill in that one gap. But honestly, now that the wire is there, it doesn't even bother me nearly as much. So we'll see what I do. The next question on that video is from Diane, and she had said, Robbie, I want to start composting but need advice. Should I buy an 80-gallon container for composting from Amazon, or should I build one? I personally would build one. We built one. We built a double piled compost. I have a video on it, but the audio is just garbage. It's when I was testing out microphones, and the microphone that I used was terrible. So it's a little rough to watch, but I do recommend building your own. I mean, honestly, you just make them in piles. You just make a giant pile, and then a couple months later down the road, after keeping it wet all summer, that's the biggest thing, is to keep it wet, is to just flip it. So we did it in a 2-bin pile. You can do it in a 3. 3 is better. You can just use 2x4s and some fence boards and line it. It's super easy to build. You can buy them off Amazon. We had one that a friend had given us that was too small for how much we were producing on the property. So we ended up giving that one away to somebody else who could use it, who had a much smaller property. So it depends on how much you have. I mean, an 80-gallon one, we would fill that up in like two weekends on our property. We fill up our trash cans, and we have 2 of them, and we fill those up every single week. They get filled. I would recommend building it because then you can build it to a much larger size than you think that you would need. So I hope that helps. You can also search Visit Our Garden Compost, and a video should show up. Just a warning that it's rough. The next question on that video is from Stacy, and she had said, I can't wait to match your crisscross Espalier creation. I'm thinking of using Carolina Jasmine. What do you think? The stat says that it grows 5 feet per year. You can do it. It's a lot of work. There is one that I'm hoping to get my hands on, also from Monrovia. It's called Arabian Jasmine, and it's a double blooming jasmine. I want to line the driveway with it, and I want to do big diamonds instead of the smaller diamonds like we have. I think it would be so pretty, and it's supposed to be like highly scented, and that one only reaches like 6 feet at maturity. So you could also keep your eye out for that one, Arabian Jasmine. I think that would be a really, really good one to add to your garden and do Espalier with. It sounds like it is less intense of a grower, but you can also wait till I get my hands on it, if I get my hands on it, and see what I think after I install it and how fast it grows too. But the other jasmine, fast grower. Honeysuckle, super fast grower. It'll fill in extremely quick. Just a warning that it's a lot of work. And the last question on that video is from Terry, and they had said, hi Robbie, it's going to be so pretty when they are filled in. Question, how many years before the trees bear fruit? Apple trees can take years to bear fruit, like 3 to 4 years before you start getting fruit. And even with that, you kind of want to pinch off the fruit trees, the fruit from the first one, especially with the Espalier, because you're trying to get the form right. The first year that I have these guys, they're going to start putting their branches out, and then the second year is when they will produce these little spurs, is what it's called, and on those spurs is where your fruit begins to like form. So the first year was the stick in the ground. We've got Freya here again. Second year was our branching growth, and it's not long enough. It's not going to reach that full length that I want in the first year. Second year, it should reach the full length. And then by third year, I should have enough spurs on there to let it continue to flower and fruit. So 3-4 years, probably realistically. This is year 3 on our more established Espalier, and I still don't think I'm going to get any flowers from it. So hopefully next year I should get flowers from it. The next video that we did was we were making progress working on the fence and planting, not painting. We did paint. You guys, it looks so good. Is this a cobweb behind me? What is happening? Okay, we have spiders. It's because there's a light down there, and the light shines up at nighttime, and so someone decided to make their web right there. I was wondering why it was so shiny. The first question on that video is from Julia, and she had said, watching this makes me feel better about my plant addiction. I need to learn about setting up irrigation. How did you learn about setting up drip irrigation? I learned that honestly like a little bit from YouTube, watching a few other people do it, and then just going and buying the supplies, and then just coming home and figuring it out. Okay, sorry about the nose. It's really just doing it. You figure it out, and once you start doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, this was so easy. I went over to my friend Ashley's house, my next door neighbor, and I had helped her do it, and she was so intimidated to do it, and then we did it, and she was like, this was so easy. I don't know why I was intimidated to do this. It seems a lot scarier than it actually is. It's really not hard at all. It's just basically like building a puzzle for your own garden, and you just add these extra pieces. Like, oh, I need water over here. This is half gallon. That sounds about right. We'll see. I might need to add my irrigation to go on a little bit longer. I might need to add more irrigation. It's just playing with it is all it is. The next question on that video was from KT, and she had said, the music was so relaxing. I could watch and listen to your videos all day. Did you always like gardening? When I was a kid, I did not like gardening. I liked being in the garden. I liked being outside, but the act of gardening, no. And I still don't love, I mean, it was not my garden. It was my parents' garden, so I didn't like it. And I still don't like the act of gardening in other people's gardens. I don't enjoy it. I don't get anything out of doing other people's gardens or helping them do their garden, which sounds so ridiculous, but it's true. It is what it is. I prefer to be in my own garden. I prefer to put plants in my garden. And I think part of it is because I spend a lot of time maintaining my garden, and I will spend way more money on my garden than a lot of other people will spend on their own gardens. And so when I have people that are like, hey, can you come help me design my garden? I'm like, I guess, but what's your budget? And they'll be like, oh, like $200. I'm like, I can't help you design your garden for $200. There's no possible way. I mean, you want like soil, you want irrigation, you want containers, and you want your plants. I'm like, I will spend minimum $400 on plants just for your garden. That does not include anything else setting that up, and then you won't maintain it. So I don't enjoy doing other people's gardens. I really enjoy my garden, and that's where I've really found my love of gardening, especially at our last place, our rental property. But before that, I had zero interest in gardening. I used to have like a black thumb. My mom had bought me a rose one year thinking I could keep it alive when I was like 17. Died instantly. So I always joked that I had a black thumb. And then I found my love for gardening. So no, I did not always enjoy gardening, which is kind of crazy, but I did always enjoy being outside in the garden. The next question on that video was from Heather, and she had said, hi Robbie, I love the fence color. I'm wondering if there is any visible color from the other side of the fence. I'd love to paint my fence, but our HOA would not want the dark to show through. The backyard is looking so lush. My neighbors haven't said anything about the paint being on the other side. Our one neighbors who we're really close with, when I painted it, I asked them, and they said that there was nothing that they noticed. But then when we got up close, there was like maybe like a speck here and like a speck there, but it wasn't like bleeding through the fence. So if it is something that you're worried about, I probably wouldn't use a sprayer. I'd probably just roll it, but be prepared that that is going to take a long time. Isn't it better to like ask for forgiveness and permission? Isn't that the thing? The next question on that video was from Betty, and she had said, do you go to Red Bluff or Chico for Home Depot? We go to both. I'm at Chico for work, and sometimes I just go right after work, and then when we're at home, we do go to Red Bluff because it is closer than Chico and there's less people. So we're at both all the time. I'm at both all the time. Brent was in Chico at Home Depot just this morning. So yeah, all the time, both of them. The next question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, does your clematis need some iron? It does not need iron. It got sunburnt. Those were the first year leaves. I had planted that dead of summer when I planted it, and it quickly burned. So that is a little bit of sunburn because I planted it when it was like 100 degrees. That was so dumb on my part. And the last question on that video was from Daisy, and she had said, the fence looks fabulous. I have never seen anyone finish off a fence with additional boards on the backside. Usually one homeowner gets the finished side. Is this the norm in California? If you just painted it, wouldn't it blend in without the additional expense of additional boards? Your garden looks fabulous. So in California, what most fences, like 99% of them are, is, well, they either don't have fences if you live out in the country, you just have like wired fence to define your property, or you do what's called a good neighbor fence. And what that means is that the panels flip-flop on either side. So like you would have, I think it's like 6 feet like this, and then you'd have 6 feet of the other side, of the unfinished side, which is what this looked like before. And usually you split the cost with the neighbors. So everyone pays 50%, and then you own 50% of the fence and they own 50% of the fence. I don't like that look, so I didn't ask my neighbors if they wanted to pitch in for the fence. When we bought this house, this fence right here was good neighbor fence, and when it came up for when the people were renovating it who owned it before to put it on the market, we flipped all the boards so they had the good side because we wanted to redo it, and the fence boards that were on this side weren't the size fence boards that matched the rest of our fence. So we went ahead and we just flip-flopped the panels all onto their side, and we got fence boards that matched the rest of the fence that I like, which is this size, to match the rest of our property, and we are lining this. So this section of the fence will be double lined, and then the rest of the fence will just be single lined facing us because we're paying for the entire fence to be installed. So we're not asking for the neighbors to pay for any of it because I don't want to do the good neighbor thing. That sounds so messed up. I don't want to do the good neighbor look. I hate that look. If they want to pay for someone to come in and put fence boards up on their side every 6 feet, they're more than welcome to, but I won't be doing that. So we're gonna pay for it so that way I get the pretty side, the entire thing. And the last video that we did for the week was planting Espalier and Deutzia, and I'm so happy. And the Espalier is growing and it's looking really good. I'm hoping in the next like 2 weeks I get some blooms from it, which will be really exciting. I cannot wait to see Espalier bloom. It's one of my favorites to bloom in the garden. I think it's so pretty. We have a couple of them in the garden and they always bloom, and I'm just always shocked at how good they look. Then they die back, and they surprise me every single spring. The first question on that video is from Camille, and she had said, I wonder if Espalier would grow for me in zone 10A. I have so much shade. Do you think you were just squeaking by in zone 9B? I admit that I don't notice them growing around here. So I'm zone 9A, and they do grow really well here. I don't notice anybody else who has them. I don't think I've seen them in anyone else's garden around here. I think maybe it would be worth it to get your hands on 1 or 2 of them and try tucking them in somewhere and see how they do, and wait till next year. And if they come back next year, then you have your answer that you can totally grow them. I found these ones, I think they were like 15 or 16 bucks a piece, and I think it's so worth it. There's a lot of plants that I do grow that are outside of my growing zone. If you're in California like I am, I mean, you know that these growing zones don't mean much to us, because like zone 9 California is the same as zone 9 in Arizona and zone 9 in Florida, and those are 3 very, very different places. So I would say try growing Espalier, or look up, if you're in California, look up your sunset growing zone. It is just for like a few states on this coastline. Look up your sunset growing zone and see if you can grow Espalier in your sunset zone. That's what I would recommend. The next question on that video was from Susan, and she had said, your soil looks so good. Have you amended it over the time you have been there? I'm jealous. We have not really amended it. When we bought this place, it actually used to be there used to be a giant greenhouse, like one of those like tarp ones, and the people that lived here grew weed before we lived here. And so they grew it in the ground, and if you guys know anything about anybody who's growing weed, they take really good care of the soil, and they care about like fertilizers, and they care about the soil that they put in the ground. Fox Farms, which is one of my favorite brands, is like very specifically like to grow that kind of stuff. That's how they started out, but their products are so amazing. And so the people that lived here before us grew a ton of plants in the ground. That's how we have such good soil. I blame it all on that. The next question on that video is from Leslie, and she had said, hey Robbie, I love your new Espalier. Can you tell me where you bought the spike mats? I have 4 fur babies, yeah, and would love to try the mats around newer planting. Those are from Amazon. I will put those in the link down below. They are a game changer. We've had them for like 5 years, I think, at this point. We bought them when Freya, no, they're 3 years old, because we bought them when Freya was a puppy, and I've cut them. They came in like a giant roll, and when the dogs are training, we put those somewhere where we don't want them to go, and then we will remove them after a couple months, and we'll put them somewhere else in the garden where we don't want them to go. And they learn really quickly where they can and cannot go. It's really a game changer for the garden. I highly recommend it. And the last question on that video was from Karen, and she had said, do you have a link for that rose for us to order? I don't unfortunately have a link to that rose. It is the Itsy Bitsy Peach Miniature Rose. It's from Monrovia. You can see see on their website, just search it, and it should tell you if you can find it in your area. They've got a really cool thing called a plant locator. What it does is it tells you nurseries that sell in your general area, that sell Monrovia, and if they've ordered within the last X amount of time, if they've ordered that plant. You can also go to your local nurseries and ask them to order you that plant. Sometimes things come available online on Monrovia. A lot of times they come available on Monrovia, and you can order it and it will ship directly to your local garden center. So that is going to be it for this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Another Q&A, successful one, and a successful week. I can't wait to show you guys what we do this week. I got some good stuff planned. It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a warm week, but it's going to be good. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.